Hello, everybody. Welcome to HIGHpothesis with the Drunken Peasants. If anyone out there could create an intro for this new little section we're doing, that'd be great. Please send that to us at our Facebook or send it to our Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, you can just tweet at us and we'll see it.
Sweet. Get it to us. This is going to be a new little show where we put out custom clips. And today we're going to start with the story of a boy in Canada who was starved to death by his Christian parents. We're going to read a little bit of this article and
Typical
then,
fucking
do
Canadians,
some commentary
dude.
here.
Typical fucking Canadians.
Oh, look, we've got
Yay,
ads coming
Windows
up.
10.
Yeah, Windows 10.
Sweet. Fuck you, Windows 10.
Actually, the Drunken Peasants are brought to you by Windows 10. For now,
Go
for your
fuck
phone.
yourself and die, Windows 10. No one cares. Speaking of dying, this kid's dead.
You want me to read a little bit of the
so
headline?
let's go ahead.
Yeah, you
they,
go ahead.
they knew he was dying. Canadian parents who starved their diabetic son,
Fucking
15
Canadians.
years old, to death and prayed for 2 hours rather than called 911 when they found him not breathing, get life in prison. So there's a picture
well
of
they
the young man
deserve.
there
They deserve it.
starving. Look at him. He looks emaciated.
This is
Yeah.
disgusting.
Clearly
That is-
sick.
That is a picture from 2013.
So he probably looked
13.
worse than this when he
so
died.
So he looks 13. He looks like he's
10.
from someone living in a war zone.
My understanding is that he weighed under 40 pounds
God, what is...
when they discovered his body, or when they came to get his body after the parents finally did call somebody after he was dead.
You know,
Another thing is there was open sores on his face,
of course there were.
and one was so pronounced that you could actually see his jaw because the skin just was not there
let's
anymore.
read this here.
And here's the parents.
His physical condition at death was not a
Fuck
sudden
them.
or quick occurrence, but rather took place over months and probably years, the judge said.
The parents waited 2 hours to call 911 after they found Alexander not breathing at their home, spending their time praying instead, according to court testimony.
You see, shit like this, I'm very even-handed when it comes to justice. But when people do shit like this that's senseless to kids or animals, I get very biblical. I feel like these people are Christians, an eye for an eye. These fat fucks right here should starve to death.
Yeah, and look at them. I was about to
They
say,
ain't
like,
starving.
look at these two fat, well-fed fucks that starved their kid to death because they were in denial about him having diabetes. The whole story here is just crazy because this kid, Alexander, or whatever his name was in the, he got diabetes. His parents didn't treat him for it, and he became emaciated, and they knew he was being neglected. So the state...
They were neglecting him.
The state took him away, put him in a foster home where he got well fed, and apparently he was thriving and happy. And then the city of, I believe it was Alberta, said, "All right,
Alberta's a province.
the province of Alberta said they're going to give him back. We're going to give him back to his parents, and he's gonna." We're going to make sure they take care of him this time.
Yeah.
He's going to have regular medical
He's
checkups.
going to be monitored.
And we're going to monitor his situation.
These parents have demonstrated a fucking total lack of a basic parenting skills and neglecting their child's medical needs.
But here's what
basically-
happened. All they had to do was
Check on him.
They did check on him while he was living in Alberta, but when the parents then moved, possibly solely so they could fucking get away
Starve
with this, Alberta lost track of the kid. The kid goes somewhere else, and they fucking re-begin the process of fucking slowly starving him to death.
See, you know what, dude? I know these crazy fucking parents killed this kid, but really, Canadian social services failed this kid.
You know what failed them even more is religion. Let's see. The devout churchgoers allegedly told friends that their 15-year-old son had died, but was brought back to life by God.
Yeah.
I think I found the root cause and the root problem here is this ridiculous religious beliefs they had. That look, I grew up in Louisiana. And I knew kids that were diabetic and their parents were Christians, like fundamentalist Christians. They still got insulin. Their parents were still like, don't eat sugar, don't do this, because they wanted their child to grow up and be healthy. So even fundamentalist Christian idiots can sometimes get this right. These people are just insane.
Yeah, I think
They
I
withheld
found the problem.
insulin from him. They withheld any sort of treatment. 'Cause they wouldn't even admit that he had diabetes. To them, it was
They're
like,
insane.
no, our son doesn't have diabetes. God would not allow that.
You see, this is the problem when we debate facts. Like it was a fact their son had diabetes, But yet there's this debate in society now where it's like we can debate things like climate change. Let's debate these things. Like there's no debate. This kid is dead because we were debating these religious questions.
The Calgary Sun says that the medical examiner, a man by the last name of Alexandru, Alexandru, the kid, appeared to be so badly neglected his fat and muscle reserves were depleted and his teeth had rotted away.
Wow.
These fucking people, you know what? Starve these fat fucks. Put them in a cell. All right? Give them everything they need to live except food and just let them waste away.
You know, I read another thing that said, like, even his organs and stuff were, like, withered inside his body.
Dude, hunger, your body basically eats itself.
Yeah, and his body ate itself to, like, the point where he was, 34 pounds or some ridiculously low number like that. Like, can you imagine a human being of the age of 15 who weighs fucking under 40 pounds?
I mean, dude, look, in America and Canada, there is, like, obesity is pretty fucking high, especially in the areas of the country of Canada we're talking about. Look at those two fat fucks. His parents, they're obese.
I mean, you're basically talking about a living
for someone to starve,
someone
to starve in a country that's stable and there's access to food and all of that. Why this is just unconscionable that someone would die.
And
you know
these fat fucks too. These fat fuck parents. Just like, nope, Alex, you can't have no food. God don't want you to.
It would be one thing if these people had secreted this kid away and they just discovered it. But the fact that social services was involved at some step of this, knew that these parents had a hard time or had a history of not feeding this child, and nobody followed up when they moved to the point where he just withered away and died, whoever the caseworker was on this ought to be fired.
I believe that there's probably changes that need to be made to Canada's social service system. I don't know if this is maybe. I don't understand the intricacies of their system, so I can't say for sure. Oh, whoever should be fired.
Well,
I don't think a firing
Canada,
of one person is probably not what needs to happen. I'd imagine there probably needs to be a major system overhaul.
Like in Canada, a lot of things are provincial, so if you move to a different province, that's probably what happened.
Well, they need a more federalized system at that point.
They probably do when
it comes to child abuse,
because it should not be. It should not be the case in any system that you can abuse a child one place and then if you're fucking caught or whatever, you just go somewhere else and evade consequence.
Yeah.
I think
that's like Catholic Church shit at that point.
I think in this country and in Canada, that is kind of the reality. I think people do move locations to escape, and continue their criminal activity.
I mean, do you guys think they moved solely so they could start starving their son to death again?
Maybe.
I hope not, but probably so.
Then they deserve to go to prison for murder.
I mean, are these?
They were convicted
of murder.
Which I applaud. Thank you.
Did these parents use the child as a little like sympathy doll? Or is this Munchausen by proxy, possibly?
They make him sick. They were telling their friends that their child was, brought back to life by God or whatever.
That was allegedly said.
Allegedly.
I mean, we don't know for certain.
Yeah, these people, well, I mean, at least justice was done on some level. They got life in prison. I mean...
Possibility of parole in 25 years, which they'll probably both be dead by then.
Oh, yeah, these people aren't going to live 25 years in prison. I mean, I don't know what the Canadian prison system is like, but I know somebody that starved a child to death wouldn't last long here.
Yeah, I mean, like,
good reason.
I'm all for prisons being geared towards rehabilitation, but I don't know if there's any rehabilitating people who would literally let their son wither away to death before their very eyes while they're just content to fucking clasp their hands and go, Jesus.
I mean, when you talk about rehabilitation, like, do I think that these people would ever be trustworthy with a child again? No. There's no rehabilitation for people like this, so separating from them from society is really all we can do.
Yeah, there's something seriously wrong with these people, and I mean, look, part of it has to be mental illness, part of it has to be religion. I mean, this is just disgusting.
Those two together, though, are pretty potent combo, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can't, I mean, like, when it comes down to two people, I mean, they don't share a fucking mental illness. This is something that has obviously been discussed between them.
I mean, obviously they discussed it, but I'm saying they're both mentally ill in the respect that...
How do two people come to that conclusion,
could you let someone, starve to death, or a dog or an animal, even if you didn't give a shit about it? Like, let's say it was a dog you didn't even like, but it was
steal the dog and feed it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, most people, I think, that have any sort of empathy or compassion could just not sit by and say, okay, this is okay.
Dude, it would have been,
these people are fucking deranged, dude.
These people would have been more compassionate if they had gone into their son's room with a fucking shotgun and blown his fucking head off.
Oh, I agree.
That would have been
starving to death.
I would have viewed that, someone who did that as the moral superiority of these degenerate fucks.
Starving to death like that is one of the worst ways you go, because it's just absolutely slow, devastatingly painful, devastating suffering happens when a person starves to death. It's like burning alive, but compounded over 3 years.
Yeah,
Think about it like that.
Just,
these people
imagine just dying by withering away slowly like that.
Actually, look, read this.
Your
TJ.
body,
This is his teacher in a letter to Children's Ministries. Alexander's former kindergarten teacher wrote, "His life story of suffering and premature death demands that greater, more open sharing of information between provinces be implemented."
Right. That happens here between states too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it happens within states that kids fall through the cracks.
This
here.
isn't even the first time I've seen a story like this where there was neglect to the point of someone starving to death. I've seen pictures of children who look like they're like 9 years old that were like 17.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. Sometimes it's county based, so these people will move what ends up being
so
30
much bureaucracy.
Miles. They move 30 fucking miles and just continue doing what they were doing, and everybody's like, "Well, nope, they crossed that 30-mile border, so we don't care about that kid
We need
no
to
more."
do a better job on this shit, folks. We need to do a better job on this.
These people had no business having their own child, and that's fucked up to say, but what they did, that's fucking terrible.
They had 4 or 5 other kids, by the way. They didn't starve any of those kids to death.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Because they didn't have diabetes.
I guess they just singled out Alex
for having a treatable
treatment.
fucking illness.
A totally
disease.
treatable illness.
Yeah, that millions of people live with all across the world just fine. They fucking killed him.
Yep.
I don't know what else you can say.
If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up, and check out all of the social media links and relevant information in the description section of this video. Thank you very much.